Have you ever met someone whose presence alone made you feel at ease? Someone who didn't need to say much, yet carried a wisdom so deep that you couldn't help but admire them? Have you ever wondered what makes a person truly irreplaceable? As they grow older, many people think it's wealth, status, or even good health. But the truth is, none of these things are what makes someone quietly more valuable than gold after 65. It's not about money, social position, or luck. It's about something much deeper. There are certain rare traits that, when cultivated, transform a person into someone deeply respected, admired, and cherished. These are the traits that make others seek out your presence, that make your words carry weight, and that turn ordinary moments into something truly special. But here's the surprising part. Many people overlook these very things. They let them slip away without realizing just how much power and influence they hold. In this video, we're going to explore 6 of the most valuable qualities a person can develop after 65. 6 things that have nothing to do with how you look or how much money you have, but everything to do with how you live, how you think, and how you carry yourself. And the best part? These qualities are not fixed. They can be nurtured and developed at any stage in life. No matter where you are right now, you have the ability to cultivate these 6 traits and become the kind of person whose presence alone makes an impact. But here's a warning. Most people never realize the power of the last one until it's too late. So make sure to stay until the end, because it might just change the way you see yourself and your future. Why this matters more than ever if you've ever felt like you're fading into the background as you get older. If you've wondered how to maintain your sense of purpose, dignity, and confidence in a world that often overlooks aging, if you want to become someone who is truly valued, deeply respected, and unforgettable, then this video is for you, because these 6 qualities don't just help you stand out, they give you something far greater. They give you a sense of fulfillment and inner peace that no amount of money or status could ever replace. The secret to being truly cherished. Think about the most respected and admired older adults you know. Are they the loudest ones in the room? Are they constantly chasing attention? Are they the ones complaining about how things used to be better? No, they are the ones who carry themselves with quiet confidence, the ones who make others feel safe, inspired, and valued, the ones who have mastered these 6 rare traits that set them apart from the rest. And today, you're going to learn exactly what they are. But before we dive in, let's do something together. If you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to hit that button and turn on the notification bell. This way, you won't miss out on future videos filled with insightful and life-changing content just like this one. And if you're ready to discover what makes someone more valuable than gold after 65, let me know in the comments. Type 1 if you're excited to learn these 6 powerful traits. Type 0 if you think there's something missing, so I can improve and create better content for you. Now let's begin. Because by the end of this video, you won't just know these 6 qualities. You'll know how to cultivate them in your own life and become the kind of person who is truly unforgettable. Let's get started. Trait number 1, the ability to stay calm in any situation. Have you ever been in a room where one person's presence alone made everything feel more peaceful? Have you ever faced a stressful moment only to find yourself gravitating towards someone who could make sense of the chaos? That's the power of calmness. And as you age, this trait becomes one of the most valuable things you can develop. It's not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It's about having the wisdom to know what truly matters, the patience to let go of small irritations, and the ability to remain steady, even when life throws its worst at you. Why this trait makes you more valuable than gold life isn't always easy, especially as we grow older. We witness loss, change, and unexpected hardships. Some people let these experiences make them bitter or anxious, but the ones who become truly irreplaceable are those who learn to stay centered. They don't panic over minor inconveniences. They don't turn every disagreement into a battle. They don't let frustration dictate their mood. Instead, they develop a steady presence that reassures others, brings perspective, and makes them someone that people naturally gravitate toward. The story of Harold, a man of unshakable calm. Let's talk about Harold, a 74-year-old retired firefighter. Years ago, when he walked into a burning building, his calmness saved lives. He knew that panic never helped, only clear thinking did. But even now in retirement, Harold's ability to stay calm is what makes him so respected and cherished. When his grandchildren come to him with their problems, he never dismisses their feelings. When his friends are going through tough times, they trust his advice because they know he won't add fuel to the fire. When his wife worries about life's uncertainties, she finds comfort in his steady, reassuring presence. Harold isn't the loudest person in the room. He isn't the one trying to prove anything. But he is the one everyone turns to in a moment of crisis. How to cultivate this trait in your own life. If you want to become the kind of person whose presence alone makes others feel safe, respected, and at ease. Here's how. Master the pause before reacting. Most people react instantly to situations without thinking, but the most respected older adults take a moment to pause before they respond. Next time you feel frustrated or overwhelmed, breathe before you speak. Ask yourself, will this matter in a year? Most of the time, the answer is no. 2. Choose your battles wisely. Not every argument is worth engaging in. Think about it. How many times have you seen older people waste their energy arguing over things that truly don't matter? The most respected individuals listen more than they speak. They don't waste time trying to prove themselves to people who don't matter. They know that true power comes from knowing when to engage and when to let things go. Become a source of peace for others. Do people leave conversations with you feeling more stressed or more at ease? The strongest, most valuable people are those who can calm a storm, not make it worse. They listen deeply before giving advice. They offer wisdom instead of knee-jerk reactions. They remind others that everything is temporary and that most problems have solutions. When you become this person, people will gravitate toward you. Here's something most people don't realize. When you learn to stay calm, it doesn't just make others respect you. It makes your own life infinitely better. It reduces stress and protects your health. It strengthens relationships because people trust you more. It allows you to focus on what truly brings you joy instead of wasting energy on frustration. And if you've ever met someone with this presence, you know how powerful it is. Will you cultivate this rare quality? In a world that often feels chaotic, those who remain calm, steady, and wise are the ones who become truly irreplaceable. If you've ever known someone like this, or if you're working on developing this quality yourself, let me know in the comments. Comment 1 below if you want to cultivate this rare and valuable trait. Now let's move on to the next trait that will make you quietly more precious than gold. Trait number 2, a lifelong sense of curiosity. Have you ever met an older adult whose eyes lit up when they talked about learning something new? Someone who never seemed stuck in their ways, but instead embraced new ideas, new experiences, and new knowledge. These are the people who remain vibrant, engaging, and unforgettable, not because of their youth, but because of their curiosity. One of the greatest mistakes people make as they age is believing that learning, discovery, and adventure belong to the young. But the truth is, those who become quietly more valuable than gold are the ones who never stop being curious. They are the ones who ask questions instead of assuming they already know everything. Explore new interests instead of sticking to the same routine. Stay open-minded instead of dismissing new perspectives, because here's the secret: curiosity keeps the mind sharp, but more importantly, it keeps the spirit alive. Why curiosity makes you more valuable than gold. People often assume that aging means losing relevance, but the opposite is true for those who stay curious. Think about it. Who would you rather have a conversation with? Someone who only talks about the past, complains about how things have changed, and dismisses anything new? Or someone who is engaged, interested, and excited about what's happening in the world today? The people who remain cherished as they grow older are the ones who continue to learn, ask, and explore. They don't shut down discussions with, "That's just how things are." Instead, they say, "Tell me more." They don't let their world shrink. They keep expanding it every single day. The story of Evelyn, the 76-year-old who never stopped learning. Take Evelyn, a 76-year-old retired school teacher. She could have easily settled into a comfortable routine, watching the same shows, talking to the same people, and repeating the same stories. But instead, Evelyn made a choice. She would never stop being a student of life. She reads books outside her usual interests. She listens to younger people talk about their experiences, not to judge, but to understand. She even learned how to use new technology, not because she had to, but because she enjoys keeping up with how the world is evolving. And because of this, Evelyn is endlessly fascinating to talk to. She is respected not just for her wisdom, but for her openness to new ideas. She stays present, engaged, and ever-growing, and people love being around her because of it. How to cultivate a lifelong sense of curiosity. If you want to become someone who never stops growing, here's how. Replace judgment with genuine interest. Too many people reject new ideas because they seem different from what they once knew. Instead of saying, "That's not how we did things in my time," try asking, "What's different about this? What can I learn?" When you approach the world with curiosity instead of judgment, you expand your mind and become someone that others respect and admire. Keep learning. Even when no one else does, never stop being a student of life. Read books that challenge your thinking. Have conversations with people who see the world differently than you. Try learning something new, even if it's just for fun. When you do this, you will never feel like life is passing you by, because you will always feel like you're in the middle of something meaningful. Surround yourself with curious people. Curiosity is contagious. Spend time with people who ask questions, explore, and embrace new experiences, and soon you'll find yourself doing the same. Avoid those who always complain, resist change, or shut down new ideas, because their mindset will pull you into stagnation. People who stop learning often become bitter, frustrated, and isolated, while those who keep asking, learning, and growing remain energized, relevant, and deeply valued. And here's the truth: curiosity doesn't fade with age. It's something you have to choose to nurture every single day. If you've ever met someone who radiates this kind of curiosity, you know how magnetic it is. And if you cultivate it within yourself, you will never feel like life is passing you by. Will you keep asking, learning, and growing? The world is full of things to discover, but only for those who are willing to see them. If this resonates with you, if you believe that curiosity is the key to staying young at heart and sharp in mind, let me know in the comments. Type 2 below if you are committed to lifelong learning. Now let's move on to the next rare trait that will make you quietly more precious than gold. Trait number 3, the strength to set boundaries without guilt. Have you ever felt drained after spending time with someone? Have you ever said yes to something when deep down you wanted to say no? As we age, we often feel pressured to be available to everyone, our family, our friends, our community. But the truth is, one of the most valuable traits you can develop after 65 is the ability to set boundaries without guilt. Why? Because boundaries aren't about being selfish. They're about knowing your worth, protecting your peace, and valuing your time. The people who are quietly more precious than gold are not the ones who let others walk all over them. They are the ones who respect themselves enough to say no when necessary, and yes, only when they truly mean it. Why boundaries make you more valuable than gold. Many older adults fall into the trap of people-pleasing. They say yes to things they don't want to do out of obligation, let others take more than they give, tolerate disrespect or emotional drainers because they feel they have to. But the truth is, the most respected, valued, and cherished individuals are those who set clear boundaries and refuse to compromise their own well-being. They are the ones who have learned that you don't owe your time to everyone who asks for it. You are allowed to say no without explaining yourself. You deserve relationships that feel balanced, not one-sided. And once you master this, you instantly become someone who is deeply respected, both by others and by yourself. The story of Robert, a man who reclaimed his time. Meet Robert, a 73-year-old retired mechanic. For most of his life, he had a hard time saying no. If someone needed help moving, he'd do it, even if his back hurt. If a friend constantly called just to dump their problems on him, he'd listen, even when it left him emotionally exhausted. If a family member disrespected his time, he'd stay silent to avoid conflict. And over time, Robert felt drained, frustrated, and unappreciated, until one day he made a decision. His time was just as valuable as everyone else's. He started setting firm but kind boundaries. He only helped when he genuinely wanted to, not out of guilt. He stopped being an emotional dumping ground for others. He spent time with people who uplifted him, not those who drained him. And guess what? His life transformed. He became happier, healthier, and more respected than ever before. Because when you start valuing your own time, others do too. How to set boundaries. Without guilt, if you struggle with setting boundaries, here's how to change. Stop explaining your no. Many people feel the need to justify their boundaries. But here's the truth. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain why you can't attend an event or why you don't want to do something. Simply saying, "No, I can't," is enough. People who respect you won't need an explanation. Those who don't, they were never truly valuing you to begin with. Protect your energy like it's precious, because it is not everyone deserves unlimited access to you. Ask yourself, does this person uplift me or drain me? Do I feel better or worse after talking to them? Am I giving out of genuine desire or obligation? Your energy is valuable. Protect it by setting limits on people and situations that take more than they give. Remember, boundaries are not mean, they're necessary. Many people fear that setting boundaries will make them seem cold or uncaring. But in reality, boundaries improve relationships because they create mutual respect. When you teach people how to treat you, they adjust. Those who truly value you will respect your limits. Those who don't, they were only using you. Here's what most people don't realize. When you set clear boundaries, you don't just gain respect from others, you gain self-respect. You stop feeling exhausted from overcommitting, resentful from being taken advantage of, guilty for prioritizing yourself, and instead you start feeling in control of your own time, at peace with your choices, deeply valued for who you are, not just for what you do. Will you protect your peace? If you've ever struggled with setting boundaries, if you've ever felt guilty for saying no, or if you've ever wanted to reclaim your time and energy, Know this, you deserve to protect your peace. If this resonates with you, let me know in the comments. Comment 3 below if you are ready to set boundaries without guilt. Now, let's move on to the next rare trait that will make you quietly more precious than gold. Trait number 4, a presence that brings warmth and comfort. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt at ease just because of someone's presence? Have you ever met a person who made you feel safe, valued, and understood, not through grand gestures, but simply by being who they are? This is the power of warmth and comfort, one of the rarest and most valuable traits a person can possess after 65. In a world that often feels cold, rushed, and disconnected, those who radiate kindness, calmness, and sincerity become priceless. They don't force conversations. They don't try to impress. They simply exist in a way that makes others feel seen and appreciated. And because of this, they are the ones people cherish the most. Why this trait makes you more valuable than gold? Most people think that to be valued, they need to be the loudest, the funniest, or the most entertaining person in the room. But the truth is, the most cherished people are often the ones who don't seek attention at all. They are the ones who listen deeply instead of waiting for their turn to talk, offer kindness without expecting anything in return, make others feel like they belong just by being around. And here's the key. This kind of presence isn't about what you say, it's about how you make people feel. The story of Joan, the woman everyone wants to be around. Let's talk about Joan, a 75-year-old former nurse. Joan isn't the loudest person in the room. She isn't the one telling the biggest stories. She isn't trying to be the center of attention, and yet everyone is drawn to her. Why? Because she has a presence that makes people feel at home. When she listens fully, without interrupting or rushing to give advice. When she speaks with gentleness and sincerity. When someone is struggling, she doesn't try to fix everything. She simply offers warmth and understanding. And because of this, people love being around her. She doesn't have to prove her worth. She doesn't have to demand respect. She is cherished because of the comfort she brings to others. And this is a quality that is far more valuable than gold. How to cultivate a presence that brings warmth and comfort if you want to be the kind of person that others naturally gravitate toward is how. Slow down and truly listen. Most people listen to respond, not to understand, but the people who are truly loved and respected are those who make others feel heard. Next time someone talks to you, try this. Pause before responding. Give them your full attention. Make them feel like their words matter. This small shift can change the way people see you forever. Offer kindness in the warmth in your voice, the kindness in your eyes, the way you made them feel important without even trying. And this is what makes someone quietly more precious than gold, not money, not power, not being the most interesting person in the room, but simply being a source of warmth in a world that often feels cold. Will you become a person of warmth? If you've ever met someone whose presence alone made you feel safe, valued, and understood, if you believe that kindness, patience, and deep listening are what truly make a person irreplaceable, let me know in the comments. Comment 4 below if you want to be the kind of person that others cherish. Now let's move on to the next rare trait that will make you quietly more valuable than gold. Trait number 5, the ability to find joy in simplicity. Have you ever noticed that the happiest people aren't necessarily the ones who have the most? Instead, they are the ones who have learned to appreciate the little things in life, the simple moments, the quiet joys, the everyday blessings that too many people overlook. As we get older, it's easy to focus on what's missing, on what we've lost, on the things we can no longer do, on the people who are no longer with us. But those who are truly more valuable than gold are the ones who have learned to shift their focus from what's gone to what's still here. Because the secret to a fulfilling life isn't in big achievements, extravagant experiences, or material wealth. It's in learning to find joy in simplicity. Why this trait makes you more valuable than gold. Most people spend their lives chasing happiness, believing that it's somewhere out there. I'll be happy when I have more money. I'll be happy when I retire. I'll be happy when I finally accomplish this goal. But here's the truth. Happiness isn't something you find later. It's something you create now. People who are truly cherished in their later years are those who stop chasing and start appreciating. They enjoy the warmth of the morning sun on their face, find beauty in the sound of laughter, appreciate a simple meal, a quiet walk, or a deep conversation. They don't need big, grand moments to feel fulfilled. They've learned that life's smallest moments often hold the greatest joy. The story of George, the man who found joy in the ordinary. Meet George, an 80-year-old retired carpenter. George isn't wealthy. He doesn't live in a big house. He doesn't travel the world. But if you ask anyone who knows him, they'll tell you he is one of the happiest men they've ever met. Why? Because George has mastered the art of finding joy in simplicity. He savors his morning coffee as if it were the best cup he's ever had. He takes slow walks and notices the way the trees move in the wind. He listens to old songs, not with nostalgia, but with deep appreciation. He enjoys every bite of his meal, never rushing, always present. And because of this, George is at peace. He doesn't waste energy complaining about what he doesn't have. He doesn't compare his life to what it used to be. Instead, he fully enjoys what's in front of him, right here, right now. How to cultivate this trait in your own life. If you want to become someone who radiates joy and contentment, here's how. 1. Practice gratitude. Daily, gratitude is the fastest way to shift your focus from what's missing to what's present. Try this. Every morning, think of 3 small things you're grateful for. Every evening, reflect on one beautiful moment from your day. The more you train your mind to notice the good, the more happiness you'll feel without needing anything to change. Slow down and be present. Most people rush through life, always, thinking about what's next. But the people who are happiest are the ones who eat slowly, savoring every bite. Walk mindfully, paying attention to the details around them. Listen deeply, fully engaged in the conversation. When you learn to slow down and be present, you start to see beauty in places you never noticed before. Let go of comparison. One of the biggest thieves of joy is comparison. I used to be able to do this. I wish I had what they have. But here's the truth. Life changes, and that's okay. Happiness doesn't come from having what you once had. It comes from loving what you have now. The moment you stop comparing, you free yourself to enjoy the life that's in front of you. Here's something most people don't realize. When you learn to find joy in simplicity, you become someone that others love being around. You become a person who radiates peace and contentment. You inspire others to slow down and appreciate life. You make people feel grateful just by being near you. And in a world where so many people are rushing, stressing, and complaining, that kind of presence is priceless. Will you choose joy? If you've ever met someone who had this kind of peaceful happiness, if you believe that life's true beauty is in the simple moments, if you want to cultivate a deep sense of joy that no circumstance can take away, let me know in the comments. Comment 5 below if you are committed to finding joy in simplicity. Now let's move on to the next rare trait that will make you quietly more precious than gold. Trait number 6, a deep sense of self-respect that no one can shake. Have you ever met someone who carried themselves with quiet dignity, A person who didn't seek approval from others, didn't need to prove themselves, and refused to let life's challenges diminish their sense of worth. That's self-respect. And it's one of the rarest and most powerful traits a person can cultivate after 65. Because the truth is, many people lose their self-respect as they age. They start to feel invisible, undervalued, or as if their worth decreases over time. But those who become quietly more valuable than gold are the ones who realize that their worth has never been dependent on anyone else's opinion. They don't shrink themselves. They don't beg for validation. They don't allow others to dictate how they should feel about themselves. Instead, they stand tall, live with integrity, and carry themselves with unshakable self-respect. Why self-respect makes you more valuable than gold? Many people spend their younger years trying to fit in, trying to please others, trying to be liked, but the people who are truly admired and cherished in their later years are those who have learned that. They don't stop apologizing for who you are. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop seeking external approval to feel good about yourself because you know your value, and that's enough. The story of Louise, the woman who took back her power meet. Louise, a 78-year-old retired librarian. For most of her life, Louise was a people pleaser. She always put others first. She always said yes, even when she wanted to say no. She tolerated disrespect, stayed quiet in unfair situations, and constantly tried to make everyone happy, even at the expense of her own well-being. But as she got older, Louise realized something life-changing. Her time, her energy, and her peace mattered too. So, she made a decision. She stopped saying yes to things that drained her. She stopped feeling guilty for prioritizing her own happiness. She stopped allowing others to treat her as if she were less important. And because of that, she became stronger, happier, and more respected than ever before. People started treating her differently, not because they changed, but because she did. She carried herself with confidence. She set clear boundaries. She knew her worth and demanded that others treat her accordingly. How to cultivate an unshakable sense of self-respect. If you want to be the kind of person who never lets life or others diminish your worth, here's how. Stop seeking external validation. Most people go through life waiting for others to approve of them, but the truth is, you don't need anyone's permission to feel good about yourself. Your worth isn't defined by your job, your appearance, your achievements, or how much people praise you. It comes from within, from knowing that you are already enough, just as you are. Set standards for how you deserve to be treated. Self-respect isn't just about how you see yourself. It's about what you allow from others. Ask yourself, do I surround myself with people who uplift me or people who drain me? Do I stand up for myself when someone disrespects me? Do I set boundaries and enforce them? If the answer is no, it's time to make a change. Because the truth is, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Speak to yourself with kindness and confidence. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. Would you talk to a loved one the way you talk to yourself? If you constantly criticize yourself, focus on what's wrong with you, downplay your worth, then it's time to rewrite the story. Instead of saying, I'm not as strong as I used to be, say, I am wise, resilient, and valuable. Instead of thinking, I'm too old to be respected, remind yourself, my experience and wisdom make me more valuable than ever, because the way you talk to yourself shapes the way you see yourself. And when you start treating yourself with respect, so will everyone else. Here's something most people don't realize. When you cultivate unshakable self-respect, people can feel it. It's in the way because when you respect yourself, the world follows your lead. Will you stand in your worth? If you've ever felt like you had to shrink yourself to keep others comfortable, if you've ever struggled with setting boundaries or demanding respect, if you're ready to own your worth with confidence, let me know in the comments. Comment 6 below if you are committed to standing. Take a moment to reflect on these 6 rare traits. They aren't about wealth. They aren't about status. They aren't about how many years you've lived. They are about something far deeper, about how you carry yourself, how you treat others, and how you choose to live each and every day. Because the people who are quietly more valuable than gold aren't the ones who chase attention or demand recognition. They are the ones who cultivate wisdom, kindness, and a deep sense of self-worth, qualities that only grow stronger with time. If you want to become someone who is truly respected, cherished, and admired, focus on developing these 6 things. The ability to stay calm in any situation. When you are calm, you become a source of peace and strength for others. People gravitate toward those who bring stability instead of chaos. True power comes from knowing when to react and when to let things go. A lifelong sense of curiosity. Learning doesn't stop at 65. It keeps you sharp, relevant, and engaged. People who remain open to new ideas are the ones others love being around. Curiosity isn't about knowing everything. It's about staying interested in life. The strength to set boundaries, without guilt. Your time and energy are valuable. Don't waste them on people who don't appreciate you. Saying no is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. People who truly care about you will honor your boundaries instead of pushing past them. A presence that brings warmth and comfort. People remember how you make them feel more than what you say. You don't need to be the loudest or most entertaining. You just need to be genuine and kind. A simple act of listening, smiling, or offering support can make you irreplaceable. The ability to find joy in simplicity. Happiness isn't in big achievements or material things. It's in the small moments of everyday life. The happiest people are the ones who appreciate what they have instead of longing for what they don't. Learning to slow down, be present, and find beauty in simplicity is what makes life deeply fulfilling. A deep sense of self-respect that no one can shake. When you respect yourself, others follow your lead. You don't need external validation. Your worth is something you define for yourself. Self-respect means you never settle for less than you deserve, the key to becoming someone who is truly cherished. Here's the secret. These traits don't just happen by themselves. They require intention, choosing to cultivate them every single day. Effort, actively working to embody them in your actions and mindset. Commitment, refusing to let age, fear, or self-doubt hold you back. But the moment you start nurturing these 6 qualities, something incredible happens. You stop feeling overlooked because people naturally seek out those who embody these traits. You stop feeling unfulfilled because you're living with purpose, confidence, and joy. You stop feeling disrespected because you've learned how to command respect without saying a word. And most importantly, you become someone who is deeply valued, not just for what you've done, but for who you are. Which trait resonated with you the most? Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 6 traits resonated with you the most? Which one are you already nurturing? Which one do you want to develop more? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Type 1 if you're working on staying calm. Type 2 if you believe in lifelong curiosity. Type 3 if you're learning to set boundaries. Type 4 if you want to be a source of warmth. Type 5 if you are committed to finding joy in simplicity. Type 6 if you are standing in your self-respect. Your engagement means everything. It helps me continue creating content that supports, uplifts, and inspires you. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like this video to let me know you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you never miss content that helps you grow. Share this with someone who could use a reminder of their own worth. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you and the wisdom you bring to this world, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay inspired, stay strong, and remember, your value is immeasurable.